So yesterday was World Teachers' Day, and the president reeled out some new incentives for teachers in Nigeria. And many have responded, others have cautioned that the teachers shouldn't get too excited. Others are saying this is a good step in the right direction. Today, we'd like to hear your thoughts on the gifts, we would say, the president gave to our teachers yesterday. I'd like to list out a few of the things he had mentioned. It's in all the papers this morning. First up, he says, the special salary scale for basic secondary school teachers, increase of mandatory service year from 35 years to 40 years, construction of low-cost houses for teachers in rural areas, special allowance for teachers, peculiar allowances for science teachers, automatic admission into public schools for children of teachers, and they're also going to enjoy free tuition. Automatic employment for education graduates, provision of loan facilities for agriculture, housing, cars, motorcycles, amongst others. And the salaries were increased to about 350,000 naira for a certain grade.
For NCE.
For NCE, and 300,000 naira for
310 for NCE holders and 350 for graduates. So
some are now saying, is this a Greek gift or is this actually realistic? It's one thing to pronounce it. Some NUT spokesperson was saying that this needs to be backed by law for us to actually know that it's for real. Because it's one thing for the president to say it, it's another thing to actually have it implemented. But what are your own general thoughts? Do you think this is necessary in the first place?
I support the teachers who are asking for it to be backed by law, because we've seen the debates back and forth on the minimum wage increment and how it didn't even extend to them, and how a lot of other states had to defer by what they paid, and the argument back and forth. The teachers now have waited forever. This agitation has been forever. And it seems to me that in the present realities that we are now, when the federal government is saying, no, let's take out subsidy, things are tough, this is the pandemic, the economy has been battered, we're indebted and all of that, and they're proposing this. It's almost like, let's just tell them something good in 2020 after all these years. The president, because I really would love that the federal government show me how this dream will become a reality for these teachers, so that they're not just rejoicing and then they wait another 1 or 2 years or several more years, like the ASU, waiting to implement what they've agreed on today. So, I would love to see that reality.
The Nigerian Union of Teachers, Nasir Idris, expressed his own dismay that the 30,000 naira minimum wage was approved in April 2019, but hasn't been implemented to teachers. And all the governors have said that this is not realistic. The governor of Lagos State specifically said that you cannot, from federal, determine and dictate what states should pay to teachers, which buttresses the same thing that happened with minimum wage, where the federal government gave a blanket 30,000 naira minimum wage that was not realistic or implementable within the states. The states can't follow through. Many of the states can't follow through. Many of the states are insolvent. They can't pay it. But now there's agitation that you must implement it. The federal government has declared that this is the minimum wage. So when you now declare this for secondary school teachers, because really it's more applicable to secondary school teachers, and many secondary schools falls under the states, they will now be compelled to find a way to make it work. Why don't we domesticate? Let each state handle the education based on, and some of them are really good, some of them are really, I think they are very good ideas, but can we afford it?
Okay, go ahead, Mariam. Before I let you go, let me take Yakub. Yakub, are you there? Okay, go ahead, Mariam.
Good morning to everyone in the studio.
Morning.
As far as I'm concerned, the pronunciation by Mr. President is very good. It's welcome idea, it's welcome development. But I would like to see it backed by law, as Salima said earlier. You see, the only teachers that can enjoy this for now is the teachers that are teaching in Unity School.
Yes.
Because the minimum wage of 30,000 naira, as of today, some states still hold almost 12 months, 9 months, 6 months. Yes. They owe this teacher. Are they going to pay all this increment that the federal government pronounced? But the Unity School teachers, I'm very, very sure they are going to enjoy it. And then another one I really like in this pronunciation is extent of the retirement age. Because our experiencing teachers are leaving the system. So for government to increase that age by, I think, 35 to 40 years of age in service, I think it's a welcome development.
Right.
And then the federal government should make sure that this thing is backed by law. Failure to back it by law, the state, they are not going to, in fact, they are not even pay at all. They are not even pay 30,000. They're going to pay.
Yes.
Thank you, God bless you all.
All right, yes,
Yeah,
thank you, Mariam.
So I think Yakub and everyone has said exactly how I feel as well. And for me is that there are many things that should come before this. So as much as we commend this new pronouncement, and it could be a way of just making them feel happy on a particular day, but after today, it will be great to hear from the federal government saying that this is why we have said this. We are taking this and making sure it's a proper law. Secondly, this is how we hope to raise the money with the state government to make sure that people, these teachers will get all these goodies that have been lined up. Especially, of course, as Yakub said, I didn't even know that they had to retire after only 35 years. Imagine that. So a lot of our good teachers, after 35 years, they just leave. And we know something about knowledge. It does not expire. It only gets better with age. And then we have the low-cost housing, which is important. I had, during this lockdown, there were teachers who were stranded because they didn't have money to pay rent, and that is really wrong. Really, if this is not just the usual lip service and just talking, this is great, but we need a timeline. This is what we hope will happen in this time, and this is how we hope to finance it.
And also, you know, that the states, I don't know about other states, but I know that housing is always an issue, especially in a state like an urban city like Lagos State, where you're looking for space really to build more houses. I remember former Minister of Housing then was saying that they did build houses, but the problem is that with the places where they built these houses were so remote that people don't even want to go there. And we have a situation whereby teachers are teaching in maybe Koshofe, and they're living all the way, coming from Ikorodu or Badagry, somewhere really, really far away. So it would be great for them to have houses within
or
where
even
they're
housing
teaching.
allowance, or even housing allowance. So, for instance, yes, houses is expensive in some eyebrow areas. Provide housing allowance so the teacher can at least, transport allowance, but make these incentives work. Because I don't want to join the governors and say it's totally impossible. Maybe the 310,000 monthly and 350,000 monthly is unrealistic, but when you put in certain, buffers, things will work. So create those allowances that you people will take as a lawmaker in Houses of Assembly. You will give yourself as allowance anyway. So give teachers as an allowance, give them transport allowance, make things easy for them to access.
Down to there's no money.
Give allowance. No, let me make an example of the Lagos State. So in Lagos State, I know for a fact that the basic salary of some of the teachers, a friend of mine just got employed at the level that she was employed, is about 62,000 monthly. So less of taxes, at least she will take home about just a bit less than 60,000. So she would come to work. That's basic. That's her basic. There's health for them because she can approach any of the hospitals with the ID card in the public health hospitals. So these things are you can actually work around them. If you go to the mother and child care hospital as a Lagos worker, there are certain insurances that they provided. If other states can copy those things, not only the basic salary that the teacher would need. The truth is, yes, they do need those increments because they've increased for judges, they've increased for other areas, but these teachers have waited forever for that. Yes. But don't say it's totally impossible. Yes. Create other incentives that make it easy for them to work.
Non-financial incentives, but I remember over the weekend we were discussing about education decay, and my husband kept saying that the issues are not just money, it's about the discipline that teachers used to be revered, and when you come into the school, you're meant to have your uniform. Really, there's respect for teachers, and those things, as a society, as our leaders, we must impute it back. That teachers must come to class. There should be no tardiness. Teachers must represent what is right to the students, and we must applaud them. So, one of the things that was mentioned is that the future of Nigeria will be a function of the quality of education delivered to our children today. And this depends on the quality of teachers, and the quality of our teachers depend on the motivation, and their motivation depends on how happy they are. So we know the solution. Can we now follow through and not just give an address on World Teachers Day, but create a blueprint, and we have plenty of documentation that we will now follow step by step, like what Lagos State is doing with the trainings.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. Are you there? Hello? You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hello?
You're listening to the television. Please listen to me. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Morel.
Morning.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I have to disconnect that call. I do apologize. Yes, Mariam, let me.
Yes, so, you know, when we talk about, we've always had conversations about government, maybe not also understanding the importance of education or how much of the budget needs to be slated for education. And when we have conversations like this, if this is an honest conversation with teachers, then it shows that the government finally is getting it. I mean, a lot of societal ills the societal ills that a lot of us that we're facing right now has a lot to do with, for me, I believe, the quality of education and our educational system. And just as we've read in the papers, it shows that if the teachers have a better motivation, have a proper motivation, a proper incentive, they will do best, they'll do really well at school. I want to use an example where recently there was a video of a teacher who was sort of paid bribe by students. And then we have teachers who ask children to do things for them, run around for them, or bring money to them. So first of all, if I were a teacher and I had a house that I go to, and I was paid really well, I know that my only duty is to teach you well and make sure that you do it right. But if I'm struggling with feeding myself, feeding my family, and then there are these students who have lots of money to throw around, you know, I'll be forced sometimes to make some bad decisions. You know, like, okay, I'll put some things that, when we have students get grades that they were not meant to get because they can pay for it. So if we really are serious.
So, I mean, I agree with you, Mariam. And I think that, I want to be clear that we're not against what the president has said. We're totally in support. We're just worried that how realistic is it? Because imagine if we got this announcement after 3 months of removal of subsidy, and you say, I've saved X amount of billions. Now this billion, I'm going to now redirect it to help teachers. It sounds believable because now we know that where the money has come from. But when you're just still trying to grapple with removing subsidy or not, and you're now saying you want to come and give us this gift, people are thinking, how realistic is this?
We cannot even think of cannot exhaust the amount of exploitation teachers in private schools suffer. They are running businesses. These teachers I know someone during the lockdown who was paid 6,000, but he was made to teach throughout the lockdown because he works in a private school. So these reforms are long overdue. We would have them backed by law, and then the teachers would feel rested and reassured in doing their jobs. Like Miriam said, all these other corners that they cut that destroyed the moral fibers of our society today would stop. Teachers started all those things because back then in school, when people started paying teachers, parents started paying teachers who did not have will have to take.
All right, so I guess only time will tell. Let's see how it goes. Now, he has made this announcement. We'll wait and see what happens afterwards. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, we move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You can watch Your View on TVC every Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Nigerian time on DSTV channel 418, GOTV channel 27 and channel 47, StarTimes channel 121 and channel 307, Play TV channel 801 and channel 190, UHF 49, Sky channel 515 for UK viewers. Watch live on Facebook at TVC Connect and on our website tvcentertainment.tv/livestream.